The biggest battle we will ever have to face is the battle between you and you. It's the battle of taking your mind to that limit and then breaking through. On the Mindful Experiment podcast, we will share concepts, universal laws, and interviewing individuals who have done just that, who have gone through the dark times and through those moments allowed their light to shine bright. I'm your host, DrVic, and I want to thank you for listening to the podcast and taking this journey with me as we discover different avenues to break through those limits, expand your reality, and evolve into the person you desire to be. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. This show is sponsored by Empower Your Reality. Empower Your Reality is an online consciousness school that is designed to help you elevate the mind, raise your consciousness, your vibration, to attract and create the reality of what it is that you desire. At Empower Your Reality, we have books, we have online classes. You can find the podcast here on there and other things that can help you elevate and truly learn the art and the science of creating the reality of what it is that you want to experience in your life. So for more information to check out all that we're up to and what we're doing, please visit www.empoweryourreality.com. Now, back to the show. What up, everyone? This is Dr. Vic, and you're listening to another weekly episode with me here on the Mindful Experiment, as I'm coming at you and sharing with you each week something short, snippet, 10, 15, 20 minutes of something that I may have found in a meditation, worked with your coaching client, something I think they can add value to your life and help you in some way, shape, or form. In this episode, I was having a conversation actually with a patient, and I thought it was really inspiring. As we discussed, we're talking about a variety of things. But one of the things that came to me was in that conversation, I was getting insight from just the conversation, but was when we look at things right in life, how many times have we given an opinion or rate judgment on someone or something along the lines, right? When we look at our life or we look in today's society, there's a lot of that going on. You throw a label, there's judgment, comes one way or the other, all these different things that we're putting on each other. But the reality is how we treat others is really how we treat ourselves. I mean, it's one of those universal laws and truths that if you ever see, and this is something I've learned in my life, is however someone responds or reacts to me is actually how they really react with themselves. Because the only governing relationship you're going to have with yourself with others, is the one with yourself. So why not start there? This is why anytime I work with a client, when it comes to coaching, one-on-one coaching, or group coaching, or anything in the mentorship side, it's one of the things that I always look at is them. I mean, there's times in coaching clients that we'll talk about relationships and talk about their relationship, maybe with their spouse, their partner or something. And I always say, I don't want to hear the story, because the story is your interpretation of it. And that is your perspective on how you see things based upon your pain bodies and your conditioning and your upbringing as a child is conditioning and kind of muddying the waters, right? And we in life muddy the waters. We do this often. I even have to catch myself doing this. I'm human. It happens. I do it. And then I'll re-catch myself and go, that was not a fact. That was an opinion. Dang it. Because a lot of times we like to fill in the blanks of something that happened and we put a story on it and a meaning on it, when in reality it was just an event. And I've done many podcasts on this before, but it's one of those things where in your life, when you're looking at something, understand that, it's the relationship with yourself first that matters before you have to enhance any other relationship in any other way. Because let's face it, opinions, everybody has one, right? And the thing about opinions is, and I heard this in one of my workouts, I like to listen to a lot of workout motivational speeches. It just inspires me. It really gets me, into the zone. It's weird. But anywho, but in one of them, I was listening and it was a profound statement. Again, another insight, right? I talked to a patient, got an insight, worked out today, got another insight, same related to that. So I was like, podcast episode, let's do it. And so in this episode, in this whole concept, it was talking about how, I'm going to butcher this, but it was about opinions. And it was those that don't have, I don't know if it was values in themselves or they don't have self-worth or something along the lines, but it was meaning that don't let the opinions of others get the best of you. And I thought that was profound because, it's one of the things in life. You always hear the ones who are not really well educated in the department give you the opinion. It's the ones who aren't really part of it get an opinion. And it's the ones who, don't get me wrong, guys, I'm being a chiropractor and a doctor. One of the things about the way I live my life is I live by codes and I live by truths. My whole purpose is I'm all about the truth at the end of the day. It's a code I live by. And if I'm sharing something that's not truth, but I can get a benefit from it, I'm not doing it. Because it has to be truth. It's just something that I've lived by. I'm not for anything against that. So I'm always seeking truth. So as a chiropractor, a doctor, or I'm not a scientist, but someone who reads a lot of research. I wouldn't say I'm a researcher because researchers understand research way better than I do. But when it comes to like methodologies and approaches, I can read research and understand what the study was, how they approached it, and what they did. But they just have a different eye. When you see things over and over and over, it's better for them to look at it than me. Just like radiologists, if I have something on an x-ray, I know x-rays, I see them all the time, but I can tell when something's not right. And then what I do is if there's something I'm really concerned about, I don't try to make that decision. I send it off to a radiologist who sees a gazillion of weird things that are not normal. And they'll be able to pinpoint, say, this is what this is. And then I'll be like, okay, great. And so when it comes to light, but what I'm trying to make a point is a lot of times people have opinions. I share a story that from the science that goes against the narrative of what you hear in TV and everything when it comes to COVID, because there's a lot of mistruths. If there was truth, I wouldn't be that passionate about sharing these things. And it's fun. It's interesting because a lot of times the people who are coming with the strong opinions are those who may be not having a background in a certain degree or form in science or in medical training or something along the lines, but they speak like truth. And you don't just see it in this realm. I'm using this as an example. There are other examples. Look at people when it comes to sports. Look at how many people think they know sports better than the pros, right? There's people who stay on the stands and there's people who play the game. I'd rather be the person in the game than rather be the person on the stands, because the person on the stands always thinks they knows everything. They're always right and they know the best decision. But I will tell you this, being on the court in many different sports, I've learned that I don't judge the individual of what I see, because what I'm seeing is if I was in that moment, I wouldn't do any better than they would. I'd probably be worse than they are. They're the pro. They're the athlete. They do this consistently. They get paid the big bucks to do this. And so a lot of times in your life, the reason why I'm bringing this all up is because, again, your judgment, your opinions, your things that you have on others is the inner critic within yourself. So what do we do about that? How do we change that? Well, you have to remember one thing. Negativity wires the brain in a way which makes it harder to get away from it. You start to see more of it. There was at a certain process, I do a lot of fun times. I've shared this before on my podcast where I like to do sometimes day trading or something along the lines in the crypto markets. It's fun. It's exciting. I've learned a lot. I've lost a lot. I've gained a lot. It's a lot of ups and downs. Very, some days, some weeks, some months are like, wow, I can't believe how much I'm winning. And then it's like 2-3 months and you're like, wow, I'm not winning at all. I'm losing. I don't know why I'm continuing to lose. This doesn't make sense. And so it's one of the things where you live and learn from it. But my inner critic will come out like crazy at times. And sometimes I'm looking at when I'm in the losses, like, that I lose again? What the heck, right? And what I've learned through this journey is that, and I'm sharing this with you guys, is that when I do that mindset, I'm looking for the loss. So what am I going to get? The loss, right? When I'm looking for the win, or I'm looking for the potential of, I don't know how this is going to go, but I'm going in and let's see what happens. I don't have an expectation for a gain or a loss. I just trust the process. And guess what happens? 7, 8, 9 times out of 10, I get the gain. And it's because I let go, right? I don't think I know the market, or I know this is how it's going to go. It's like, I hope it goes that way, but who knows? And in your life, when you're looking at certain situations and certain things, we don't all have something figured out. We're all just going by the wind with everything, right? And we hope for the best. And we hope that as long as we show up and do our best, that's all best we can do. And so when it comes to giving an opinion of someone else, or listening to someone else's opinion or a comment or a negative review, know that, hey, this is just a grind to continue to move forward. It's a grind to not let that make you have a setback. It's a grind to know that, hey, these things are going to come, but I'm going to keep moving forward no matter what. It's like a failure. The only time you fail is when you quit. And stocks is one of those things, I've learned in investing that it works. When I sell something that hasn't been moving, and I may have taken a loss, that loss is permanent. That's not like, oh, I'm just down right now, but it'll come back up. It's I sold and that's it. It's a loss. Same thing in life. If you quit at something, it's a loss. But if you keep working at it and keep going forth and don't let the noise get the best of you, overcome that inner critic within you, man, success is just that much easier. You have more freedom and understanding to know that inner critic is waiting every moment, every chance it get to try to get you, to pull you emotionally, pull those strings to trigger you, to get you to go back to those negative thought processes. And it's your job, it's your role to stay centered, right? I want you to think of it as someone else. You have someone in your head who's going cheering for you, and you have someone in your head who's going against you. And that's going to be there for the end of time. As you evolve and get better and you grow and you adapt and you learn and you do all these different things in your life, understand that the fact of the matter is that you will always, they're going to grow, they're going to evolve, and they're going to adapt and change too. They're with you until the end. So your job is to understand and learn how to master that critic and not let the opinions of that and the opinions of others get the best of you. Because I'll share a secret with you. When anyone ever shares an opinion with you and you get triggered by that, the only reason why you're triggered by that is because you tell yourself that. Does that make sense? So anytime that someone says something about you or something and you get frustrated, you get infuriated, you get upset, that is going to be the thing that triggers you because you have something within you that you're already saying to yourself, that you already believe. So be aware, learn from the emotional pulls, learn from those tugs, because they're going to kind of tell you where you're at, what you're allowing in, what you're accepting, and then what are the things you have to do to break away to really thrive, grow, and evolve in what you do in your life. I hope this helps. I kept this one short and sweet. I came off a couple different arenas, a couple different avenues, but the point of the moral story is that stick to what you believe and the truth that you believe and get on the court and stop being in the stands if you are. And stay on the court and keep doing what you do. Because there's always going to be people in the stands. And there's always, just like in any sports arena, there's always more fans, more people in the stands than there are in the court. And that's why you see the polarity when it comes to people who are successful versus not, people who are happy versus not, because the ones who are in the court really don't care about the opinions. The ones in the stands, they care. And that's probably why they're in the stands. So don't be in the stands. Get on the court. Have some fun. Enjoy life. Life is short. Take the best chances. Why? Don't wait. Take advantage of it now. Figure out something you love to do and go out and have fun and just keep going at it to become a master of it and just keep working. When you keep that energy high and vibing really high, you got a good mood. And the reason why you're vibing high is because what ends up happening is that you are connected more to your soul's purpose and what you truly enjoy. And I truly believe, and I'm going to be coming up with more podcasts coming up soon about ways to know that you are into your soul's purpose and how to find that and what's your gifts and so much more. And it's going to help massively. So check that out. Check out this week's podcast. We got some good people we've been interviewing, and I'm just excited with the kind of people we've been interviewing. Been having some really, really good conversations coming up. This week, I have Dr. Fleet Mall that I'll be releasing this Friday. Amazing conversation with Dr. Fleet. I can't wait to share that with you. And we have a whole lineup coming and many more coming to you. So stay tuned every Friday as I launch out a new interview. And as always, I appreciate you guys. Until next time, keep rocking and rolling. Thank you for listening to the podcast. For past shows, please visit www.empoweryourreality.com. I hope this show inspired you and added to your life to help you on the journey to rediscover who you really are. To connect with us on Facebook, please visit www.facebook.com/Dr. Manzo. Check us out on Twitter. The handle is Dr. Vic21. Follow us on Instagram, www.instagram.com/Dr. Vic Manzo. If you were inspired by the podcast, pay it forward by sharing it with someone who you know can benefit from it. Thank you again for listening to the Mindful Experiment podcast, sharing paths to help you rediscover your infinite potential.